Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming on such short notice and on a kind of a rough day weather-wise in Southern Illinois. Exciting day for Saluki football. I'd like to briefly go over the format for today's press conference. We're going to have two speakers. First, we'll have our Director of Athletics, Tommy Bell, and then he'll introduce our new football coach. We'll also have a short photo op where Coach will get a jersey and we'll have a little presentation. At the end of Coach Hill's remarks, he'll take questions. We do ask that questions come just from the media, but afterwards you'll have some time when we're done to have some one-on-one time with both Tommy and Coach Hill. So at this time, please welcome to the podium our Director of Athletics, Mr. Tommy Bell.
Thank you, Tom, and welcome everybody. I know it's a rough day, a lot of water we get to tread through, but another exciting day for Saluki Athletics. And so before I kick this thing off, first off, I want to thank our advisory committee, the people that served. I mean, they did countless hours and work and talking and visiting with folks, and appreciate all their work and what they've done for us. Secondly, our university administration really has been a real key advocate in this process, and they've really helped us cross the T's and dot the I's, and we really appreciate what they've done for us. And Chancellor Caldwell could not be here with us today, but he was right in the thick of things during the entire process, and so I'm really thankful to him and his leadership. And lastly, I would like to thank Executive Associate Athletic Director Mark Scally, who who handles our HR, really lost a lot of sleep and really worked this process through. So thank you to Mark. Thank you very much for what you've done. So let's get on to the show. You're not here to see me, that's for sure. So during my first stint as administrator for Saluki Athletics, I witnessed firsthand the success of our football program is capable of achieving. As a result of that success, we're left with a clear blueprint for how to build championship football program here at Southern Illinois. When our program was successful, we had a culture that emphasized hard work, focus, discipline, and accountability. A recruiting network that allowed us to bring impact players into the skilled positions. A championship atmosphere in which winning became second nature. Beyond that, we had leadership at the top of our program that embraced the community and inspired folks to invest in their interest and loyalty to the program. As we conducted our search of candidates, it became abundantly clear to me that the person who could best restore the legacy of our program, who could best follow that winning blueprint, was already in our midst. Nick Hill understands how Saluki football was built for success because he was a part of it. He helped build and shape it. He was the quarterback who beat Indiana. He was the quarterback who won 3 playoff games in 2 seasons. He went on to have a successful pro career as a coach. He built one of the most dynamic and high-powered offenses in the nation. He recruited many of the bright young prospects that we've laid the foundation for future success. When I met with Coach Hill, he presented a vision for how he would restore the championship program to SIU. First, he will surround himself with a staff that reflects the vision and commitment. He has a detailed recruiting plan to assemble the best possible players for the roster. Strategically, he will continue to innovate and push the envelope. Finally, he understands the culture of a program. It is so important when it comes to the fine line between winning and losing. Some other things you need to remember about Coach Hill. He is a Southern Illinois native from nearby DuQuoin. He bleeds maroon. Both he and his wife are Salukis. His passion for Saluki football is such that he will be a relentless advocate for the program. He presented a plan to me called First and 5,000, in which he intends to lead an effort to build our season ticket base to 5,000 fans. He has some creative fundraising ideas. You will see Coach Hill out in the community throughout our region promoting our football program. I've never been more excited about the future of Saluki football. It is my pleasure to introduce you the new head coach of Saluki football, Mr. Nick Hill. Picture time. Photo op. Okay, I think we got the thumbs up. All right, Coach, go get them. All right, thank you. We're ready.
It feels pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've dreamed about this opportunity for a long time. I first have to thank Tommy Bell for believing in me, the administration, Chancellor Caldwell, President Dunn, the Board of Trustees. I know that there were a lot of great, candidates for this job. To be chosen, it's truly an honor, because I think that I feel like I'm the only person that could sit up here and say that this is truly a dream come true, that it truly is my dream job, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. As I've learned and I've went through this process, my mentors have always told me that your number one person that you better thank is your wife. And if you don't have a wife that's on board with being a coach, then you probably shouldn't be coaching college football. So my wife, unfortunately, is not able to be here today. She's already in Iowa. I'm going to be heading that way after this. I couldn't do it without her. Like Tommy said, she's a Saluki. I think that I was thinking this morning, because of football, we're going to be married 4 years in January, and we've lived in 7 different houses because of football. So she's been with me the whole way. She couldn't be more excited, and I'm happy to have her with me. So I can't wait to see you tonight. We're obviously expecting our first child also in February, so I will always keep that number one. I think that being a family man is the most important, and I'm going to create a staff and have a staff that shares those same core values as myself. I want to thank my parents. They're here today, my grandpa. I really want to thank the region of Southern Illinois. When I think about my life growing up, whatever reason, I've, been blessed with the support of this region. And all along the way, I probably would have quit several times in trying to make it, but I felt like I had a region that kept on driving me. And I appreciate that. And that's why I want this job. I want this job because I want to make this region proud. And I love what this region stands for. I think all the places that I've been, if you ask them my name or they've got to know me, they associate Southern Illinois with me, and they associate DuQuoin, Illinois with my name. And I'm proud of that, because I'm proud that, what this region stands for. It's blue collar. It's, it's coal miners. It's, it's General Tire. It's General Cable. It's farmers. It's people that punch the clock. And that's what you should expect from this football program, is it's a program that's going to punch the clock. It's going to get up, and we're going to roll our sleeves up. We're going to get to work. I've said this before. The blueprint has been laid out here before, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of that. And that was from Jerry Kill. And I'm excited to get the dust off that blueprint, get it back out, start recruiting kids. And there's a lot of people. It's not my team. It's going to be a staff that shares the same vision as me. It's going to be a region that shares the same vision as me. And that's the way that we're going to get this thing done. You're not going to have to go looking for me. If there's anybody that wants somebody to come and speak or talk or whatever, I'm going to be out there. I'm coming for you, and I want to fill this thing up, and I want to have some excitement for Saluki football. And it's not going to be easy. No one said that this is going to be easy, or I want to win the press conference. We're going to win games, and we're going to get back to winning championships, but I understand that it's first built on building the culture, and that's what we got to do is get Saluki culture back. And before I open it up for questions, I don't think it would be right for me if I didn't also thank Dale Lennon. He gave me my start in college football, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. And I'll always appreciate that and what he did for Saluki football as well. So with that, I could sit up here and talk for hours about the things that we want to do and the things that we want to accomplish and how we're going to accomplish them. So I know you guys have questions. With that, I want to open it up for questions.
Nick, I know the past week has been a whirlwind for you, but
Yeah.
have you had time to just reflect on how much of a full circle moment this is for you, just having been a player here and then, getting into coaching here and obviously becoming a head coach?
Yeah, it's been a long few weeks, and I asked Roger Light to come up to my office and talk with me before I came down here, and he's somebody that's been in my life for this entire time. He's a man from Southern Illinois, and as we walked up here, it started to kind of hit me, And when I interviewed, I sat down and I told them, I'm grateful that I'm sitting down here interviewing for my dream job at 30 years old. And so I'm not going to take that for granted. And I know what an awesome opportunity this is. I'm very grateful for it. And it's my job now to prove a lot of people right and go out. And we're going to do things the right way. And that's what we're going to build this thing on.
As far as recruiting, have you been keeping your thumb on the verbals that we have, and are they pretty solid? And also, are you going to bring anybody in for spring ball?
Well, first of all, recruiting is what I love. There's not going to be a head coach that's out there that recruits harder than me. I promise you that. If there's a day that a head coach can be on the road, I'm going to be on the road. And I love kids. I love the relationships that you make with them. That's why I wanted to coach. I love getting to know their families. And when I sit in those living rooms, sometimes college coaches bounce around. Sometimes you got to sell something that maybe you really don't believe in, because it's your job. When I sit in those living rooms, it's coming from the heart. Because whether I'm here or I'm not, I tell them that all the time when I was assistant. I don't know if I'll be there in 4 years, but I promise you're going to somewhere that's special, that the people are good, and it's an awesome program. And so, I can't comment on any of the commits, but all those commitments have told me, Coach, we're ready to go if you're the guy. So I really can't wait to go. It's a recruiting dead period. I can make one call and I can talk to them on social media. I can't wait to call them. I can't wait to talk to their parents and get them back excited. And then we've got some work to do to finish out the recruiting class. And this place was built. I had a lot of special teammates that were junior college kids that were transfers. So that is the first thing is the hiring a staff. The second thing is to go out and finish this recruiting class. And so, to answer if there'll be people coming in to spring ball, probably so.
What is your timeline for hiring a staff, and have you started reaching out to guys? And then what's your timeline with the current assistants, just meeting with them?
I've met with the current assistants, and as quickly as possible. I wouldn't be, if anybody that was interviewing for this job didn't have a short list of people that they would be calling and having a staff lined up, they shouldn't have this job. So I've had the people. I want to finish those conversations, but I'm really excited about the staff that I'm going to bring in here that shares the same vision. A lot of them have been a part of this blueprint, whether I played with them or they've coached with people that I trust and know. So I'm really that gets me excited is those phone calls that I can make here shortly to get those people on board, and they're all people that this region's going to rally behind too. I mean, you just can't, when hiring a staff, is thinking about oh, I like him, I got to bring him. Can he recruit? Is he going to share those same core values that you're going to implement into this program? Can he build men? The foundation of our program is going to be a man. And, I'm not really into having a big rule book because I feel like you get them as a kid and you throw them away. You've got a list of 25 rules. Well, I feel like if you're a man and you know what it means to be a man, then you really don't need a rule book. You know how to make right choices. You know the things that you need to do. You know right from wrong. You know to be on time. Those are standards that will be met, or if they want to be a part of this program. So in building a staff, I want guys that share that same vision.
Do you envision a whole new staff, Nick, or do you think are there people here that you want to keep?
There'll be a few guys that are left that are still here that have proven to me that that's who I want on my staff. So it won't be an entire staff change. There will be a lot of changes, but there will be a few guys that are still here.
Do you envision any way you would still be the quarterback's coach or a position coach as well as the head coach?
Well, I wouldn't be standing here if I wasn't a quarterback coach. So I feel like if not, I think I'm probably going to get bored. So I'll always have my hand on the quarterbacks, and I look forward to that. I also know that as a head coach, you got to make sure that the entire team knows that you're their head coach. So I got to be celebrating with the defense, and if it's spring ball and they pick off a pass, there's going to be days that I got to celebrate with the defense. So that will be that'll be hard, but that'll be different. But I'm excited about that. I'm excited about building a relationship with all 105 guys, not just on my side of the ball. And really, if you would ask any of our players, I try to do that anyway. There's not a guy that I don't know on this team, and offense, defense, specialist, whatever. And so, I plan on still being the offensive coordinator, calling the plays, and doing that. But I'm going to surround myself with good coaches. You're only as good as your staff, and I know that, and I know that what I need to bring in, and I'm excited about that. They definitely are going to be part of the team. Now, are they going to be part of the 9 staff members? I don't know. But all those guys are going to be back. They're going to be part of Saluki Nation. They're going to be back. They're going to be welcome in that locker room. Our team will know them. It won't just be they'll be around, speaking once a year either. And they're going to be back. And, another group that I needed to thank is my teammates. I wouldn't have the career. The people that came before me, Joel Sambursky and Tommy Koutsos and all of those guys, they built the way for me. So whenever I got here, the road wasn't as tough. I mean, it was already rolling, and I just had to keep it going. To all the alumni, they know that. I send out a letter every Monday right now, and it goes out to all the alumni that I tell them about the kids, how they're doing, how the game went, all those kind of things. So I'm coming after them too. I told them, I need them. I need everybody to be thinking positively about this program. And what excites me is we're going to put together a program and a culture that makes them proud. And I can't wait to get a lot of those guys back involved.
I'm sure you're probably asked this during the interview process, but undoubtedly somebody's going to ask, given you're 30 years old and never been a head coach before, some people might criticize that, but what would be your response to that?
Well, I told the committee whenever I interviewed, if I thought 30 was a negative, thing, I wouldn't be. If I didn't have confidence, I wouldn't have applied for the job. If I thought that my age stood in the way, then I wouldn't have the confidence. I knew when I stood there and interviewed that I had total confidence that I was the guy for this job. And I sold my program. I told them, too, that if 30 was a problem, then we shouldn't probably take it any further. And there's a lot of people that I look up to out there that there's a lot of young head coaches. And am I standing up here as an arrogant 30-year-old coach? No. I know that I need to surround myself with a lot of good people. I've told Tommy I'm sure I'm going to be coming down to your office, and people like Roger Lipe, and people to someday shut my door and tell me, hey, you better think about this or that. And that comes with hiring a great staff. One of the things that I will do is hire an assistant head coach and a guy that's been around the block. And I'm excited about the possibilities of the few guys that will be coming here. And when I was Carbondale's coach 3 years ago, there was things that popped up that I wasn't ready for. There'll be those things now. But I feel confident in the resources I have to learn from those things and make the right decisions.
Do you expect your philosophy to differ or change at all from when you were the offensive coordinator?
I don't think so. I think that my philosophy is score points, play fast, have fun, and that's what we're going to do. I can promise you we'll lead the country in attitude, effort, and enthusiasm. Those are all 3 things that I've always told our offense. Those are things that it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how fast you are. It doesn't matter how good of a throw you can make as a quarterback. If you have the right attitude, that you can wake up every day with the right attitude. You can come to practice. We can do that. Effort. Playing hard. If you're on defense, if you're running the ball down on the opposite side, that's what we've got to get to. And those things can be, anybody can do that. And then we're going to have a lot of enthusiasm. I'm 30 years old. I got a lot of energy, and our team will exemplify that. And we'll have fun. If we're not having fun, you shouldn't be on our team. If you're a coach and you're not having fun, you shouldn't be coaching. And that's the way I always played. That's my philosophy, and that's the way that our team will be out there on Saturdays.
The team went 3-8 last year. What's the biggest change you have to make
I-
to progress next year?
I think we're close. We've got to get better. We've got to find a way to make up those 17 points that in 5 games we lost by 17. So what is it? It's a lot of little things, and to me it starts with a culture. So if you have a culture of winning and toughness and just a culture of together and family, and they know the right from wrong. When I took over as the interim, I knew that I had one job. They better be going to class because we don't have a game to prepare for. So, if we got a bunch of people getting in trouble and not going to class, then I'm not doing my job. So we had a meeting, and I told them, you can't be late for class and you can't miss. And if you do, we're running. And after that first day that we got out on this hill out here and ran, a couple of them were like, Coach, I was 3 minutes late. I was only 4 minutes late. And I said, we also lost 2 games by 1 point, so I really don't care. And when we figure that out, that's a big hurdle. And then we got to recruit. I feel like if you have a culture and you recruit and you put those things together and you got really good players and a really good culture, you're going to win a lot of games. I haven't texted them all. I've gotten texts from most of them already. I've probably had 200 text messages, and I know they're excited. I've met individually with all of them before they left. I told them I loved them. Tom Herman's a big name. I don't know him personally. He's the head coach at Houston, and I saw a quote from him this year, and he said that he's into real genuine love. And I feel like if you ask our offensive guys, that's what I'm into. It's not a slap on the back or, hey, give me some knucks. I'm going to hug all those guys tight and tell them I love them, and I mean it, And I want them to know that I'm there for them in any situation. And that's what I truly believe. That's my philosophy. Whether, we'll see whether it's right or wrong or whatever, that's my philosophy. Treat people right. That's my team. And I'm going to love them no matter what. I'm going to be tough on them, and I'm going to demand a lot of things out of them. But they're going to know that I'm in their foxhole. And if they need anything, that I'm there for them. And I feel like with young kids, that's how you get them to play hard for you. And if we can do that, then we're going to be pretty successful.
How nervous are you being overseeing a handful of players and now overseeing more than 100 and being responsible for everything in the program now?
I'm not nervous. I'm excited, and I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to get on the phone right now and start recruiting, and I'm ready to put together a staff. And but nervous wouldn't be the word. Probably more excited.
When did you accept the job?
Officially this morning.
When did you agree to be the new head coach?
Yeah, I mean, really, that's whenever everything was finalized. I wanted to see the contract, and I can't thank, Tommy Bell and Mark Scally, people that I've known since I played here, and that have helped me through that way. I trust them. I wouldn't have taken this job if I didn't trust them. And so we had a conversation this morning. I looked over the contract, and that's when I agreed to be the head coach.
How are you going to improve attendance?
We're going to go out there and get to know the community. They're going to get to know our players. I told them we're going to go out and we're going to show up at the coal mines. Our leadership counselor is going to be there, and we're going to be there for second shift and thank them for being those people. If you can't get go out on a Saturday and play hard. When you look a guy in the eye that's got to go to work every single day underground in water up to his knees, and he's away from his family on Christmas and all that kind of stuff, then you're not going to be on our team. You know, we're going to go out there and get the people of Southern Illinois. You know, I've said this before, there's not a back road or a town that I don't know that's south of I-64, and I'm going to be in them all. And I'm not going to be asking them to buy tickets. Now, do I want them to? Yeah, I'm going to. But if they know that I'm there for the right reasons, not just trying to sell them something, I want them to trust me first, and then they'll come. So I'm going to be out there, and they're going to get to know our players. They're going to get to know our staff. I have a lot of ideas. We're not only going to have recruiting areas, but as a staff, we're going to have areas where they socially have to get involved. They got to be a part of a club. They got to be a part of the Elks. They got to be a part of something in their area, and they've got to go to that area, and they got to mean it. And if they're not on board, then they won't be hired. So that's how I'm going to get people. Students, I have a lot of ideas about how to get students to the game too. It's not going to be easy. I'm not standing up here saying just because I'm the head coach we're going to fill this up. It's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of people with the same vision, but I'm confident that we can do it.
What do you see as the strengths of the program?
Well, we have everything in place to win. I told them this. I feel like I got a loaded gun when I go recruiting. There's never a kid that I feel like, man, I lost that kid because we don't have this, or our facilities are bad, or we don't have summer school, or we don't have this. I feel like we've got to go out there and do it. So, that's the strength right now, is everything is in place to be a winner. And we have a lot of good players on this team. We got to get better. Yeah, we have to get better in some places, but we have a lot of young, talented kids. I mean, if you saw, at one point we played like 27 or 28 true freshmen or redshirt freshmen. We got a lot of those kids coming back, and that makes me excited.
Will we finally see a 4-3 defense?
I haven't hired a defensive coordinator yet, but I can tell you this, and I'm an offensive guy, and I always will be, but I want our defense to be sound. I want them to be able to line up and play fast. So whatever that scheme is, that's what we're going to do. If you look in our league, the majority of our teams are 4-down teams, and that's why they're successful. As an offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinators will tell you the same thing. Northern Iowa, North Dakota State, Illinois State, Youngstown State. They don't try to trick you. As an offensive coordinator, I know what they're about to do. Now, they're sound. They tackle you. They line up and play hard. And that's what we're going to get to. We've had some good we have good defensive players, and not all of the stats. Listen, we go fast on offense, so we ran 80 plays a game. Sometimes stats aren't always going to be on defense. We'll probably never lead the nation in points allowed or yards allowed or time of possession because of the style of offense that we run. That's just college football now. So, but we got to be good at getting turnovers. We got to create turnovers, and we got to be good in the red zone. We got to make people kick field goals, and we got to capitalize on those things. We got to get better on offense. There was a couple games this year that we should have won offensively that we didn't, and they know that, and we demand that out of them. We all got to get better.
Well, obviously, do you feel like you still stay with the same scheme because you had 25 turnovers last year? That was a big detriment to the season, too. Do you think you can be successful with that scheme with these players?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think turnover is a scheme. It doesn't matter what play you're running. You got to take care of the football. You can't fumble. You got to make good decisions as a quarterback. All those type of things. So, that's not a scheme thing. That's a focus thing. That's a attention to detail thing, and that's what we got to get to. And that'll be an emphasis in spring ball. Is obviously the fundamental thing that you've known since you grew up playing football. You can't turn it over, and you better get turnovers. That's what we're going to live on.
Are you hiring a defensive coordinator?
Yes.
Will it be David also?
No, there'll be a new defensive coordinator.
Nick, is there one position that, as you've lost some players at different positions, is there one position you're looking at you really want to
Not specifically that we can that I would say right now on the top of my head. I mean, we've got to get better. It's how I was here. You know, each year there would be there was 2 years there was a transfer quarterback whenever I was here. You know, every room's going to know that, you know, somebody's coming to get your job. You better prove that you're the guy to do it. You know, Coach Kill was that way with me. You know, Justin Allen came in from junior college, and I had to beat him out, and then he was my #1 receiver. But the philosophy is get as many good players here as you can, and you better compete. And we're all going to be together. I think the perfect example of that is this year. And they're true examples of the kind of kids that I want in this program. It's Mark Ionati and Matt McIntosh. You know, Mark Ionati had statistically maybe the best year ever as a Saluki quarterback. You know, and we brought Matt McIntosh in here in the summertime and said, you can compete for the starting job. And Mark didn't waver. He just got better. And they became best friends. And Matt McIntosh was his best ally on the sidelines. That's the culture that we've got to breed into these guys. It doesn't matter if you're playing or what, you're going to compete, but you're also going to be a good teammate.
Any more questions for Coach Hill? How about a round of applause for our new head coach?